Pfizer and BioNTech announced just minutes ago its COVID-19 vaccine is safe and strongly protective in kids as young as 12, a step toward possibly beginning shots in this age group before they head back to school in the fall. Just reading through this early data, Mika, the study was 2,300 people between the ages of 12 and 15. The vaccine found to be 100% effective in that age group, 12 to 15. Amazing. And as I said, if it clears the FDA, and they'll send that data now to the FDA, the hope is that they could start vaccinating kids before the school year this fall. So we're not there yet, but this is potentially a massive breakthrough for the country and for the world.
That would be incredible. And we keep getting really positive news, obviously, about the vaccines and the pace of the rollout. Yeah. But, you know, Michelle, it's so great to have you on the show. It seems that the Republicans, it seems that, I'll just say it, the right-wing talking machine always has a boogeyman. And yesterday, they started complaining about vaccine passports. And I started getting emails and texts from friends saying, this is Big Brother, this is frightening, this is... And it didn't matter how many times I said to them, you know, when we were young, we had to take our certificates in that said we had the polio vaccine and the measles vaccine and the rubella vaccine, or they wouldn't let us in school. And yet it doesn't matter. This is the new scare tactic. And it seems that Republicans in Washington go from one scare tactic to another scare tactic. And the most frightening thing to me is that within 24 hours, the whole ecosystem starts spinning it and people believe it.
I mean, and it's not just, you know, when you were kids, when I registered my kids for camp, I have to go get proof of their vaccination. When they go back to school, I'm going to have to show proof of their vaccination, not for COVID because they're not old enough, but for all the other things they get vaccinated for. I've traveled to many, many countries where you have to have a yellow card showing that you've been vaccinated for yellow fever. So none of this stuff is new. You know, I think there is some debate about the extent to which we would use a vaccine passport, whether it would just be for travel, international travel, whether you would need to show some kind of proof for vaccination for everyday life. But using something like that for travel in institutional settings is really normal. And I think it shows two things. First of all, the extent to which the right wing has been so murderously irresponsible in the way they've talked about this vaccine. You know, a vaccine that if they wanted to, they could take credit for it and say, this was developed under President Trump. Everyone's so great. You know, everybody should be giving the Republican administration more credit for it. We've saved all these lives. Instead, you know, Donald Trump got his own vaccination in secret, and a lot of leading voices on the right have been casting doubt on this vaccine to the point where you see a really stark partisan divide in who's actually planning to take it, something that's going to have really deadly consequences. And when they don't want to actually cast doubt on the vaccine itself, they want to cast doubt on, you know, kind of common sense public health measures to respond to the pandemic in ways that are likely to ensure that the pandemic is prolonged.
Right. And what's really so offensive is, and this is me in my libertarian instinct speaking here, if they don't want to get the shot, if they want to endanger themselves, if they want to endanger their families, that is their choice. They have that choice. But then to start making a huge political fuss about those of us who want to be able to take our kids with diabetes or upper respiratory issues or underlying conditions, or taking our parents to a concert or to a ball game, and to make sure that people around aren't going to infect them and put them in the hospital and possibly kill them, really is, it's having it both ways. You can stay locked up in your house if you want to, but it's just staggering to me that these same people who again want to say Donald Trump did a great job developing the vaccine, but yet 50% of males won't take that same vaccine, and are now saying we can't take steps to keep our families safe because they don't care whether their families are safe or not. It's just the latest outrageous chapter in these Trump Republicans' approach to COVID.
Well, I think it underlines underlying it is just the conspiratorial nature of modern conservative politics, right? You had Marjorie Taylor Greene literally comparing these COVID passports to the mark of the beast. And I think that what Marjorie Taylor Greene often does is just take the subtext in the conservative movement and make it text.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And again, Sam Stein, Michelle makes a great point. And if you take your kids to camp, when my kids go to school, when your kids go to school, or actually you're still in school yourself, you got to take, the joke never gets old, you got to take evidence of having vaccines. And again, same as it ever was, same as it ever was. But somebody 2 days ago decided, oh, wait, polio or like vaccine passports. This can be Big Brother is watching. It's just absolutely absurd. This is beyond the fluoride and water conspiracies of the early 1960s.
Yeah, well, this 12 to 15-year-old news on the vaccination front, very good for me, obviously, because I'm still in school, as you know. Secondarily, this is a big problem and has been for years. It predates COVID, as Michelle notes, but we saw anti-vaxxer behavior rising throughout the country prior to COVID, with a lot of prominent Republican officials questioning whether government should be in the business of pushing or requiring vaccines for kids who are going back to school. So this is something that has been culturally in the mix for quite some time. I think what's happened here is two things. One is COVID has obviously accelerated discussion over this to an unfathomable degree and up the stakes to an unfathomable degree too. But two, and I love her to death, my wife works for Facebook as a disclaimer as usual, but I think social media has played a real pernicious role here in that you can basically get stories that confirm your wildest conspiracy theories or play on your biggest of concerns and fears and amplify them. And so what ends up happening is that people, in this case, parts of our political class too, latch on to some crazy ideas about what vaccines might do and things like marks of the beast and all that crazy stuff. And then they run with it. And not only that, they have an audience, an already built-in audience who will applaud them and cheer them and incentivize them to do so. And so we have a really bad brew here of a news ecosystem and political incentives.
Sam, it's not just Facebook. It's TV. It's cable news and news operations.
I was falling on the sword there for you guys. But yes, it's everyone, and it's bad. I think, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene will not get punished for saying things like that. And in fact, she'll probably fundraise incredibly well off of it. So, there is an incentive structure that doesn't work in the favor of science.
Well, and I can't tell you how many times people have called me up about, again, Plandemic, which is just a piece of garbage. It's a conspiracy theory. It's got people believing lies about Anthony Fauci, that he killed people during the AIDS epidemic, that he stands to make tons of money off. And yet, Facebook just kept it up. And kept it up. And kept it up. And Mika, you and I saw a clip from Fox News yesterday with Peter Navarro. And what he was allowed to say on Fox News without any pushback, oh my God, it's something that I would have expected to be up on Facebook and then be taken down. I mean, I'm really shocked what that guy got away with saying. The same guy who, by the way, had written a memo back in January correctly saying that 500,000 people could die from this pandemic if Donald Trump did nothing. And yeah, guess what? Donald Trump did next to nothing.
I mean, if you're a news operation, that's fireable. And it just goes on and on. We see it all the time on certain news networks. And a lot of viewers. They have a lot of viewers.
Dan, do we have that clip yet, Dan?
I don't know if it's ready, but...
Okay. Yeah, run it.
This is disinformation at the
very clear
very least.
That the decision we made on January the 10th to go all out and develop a vaccine,
we have a number of vaccine candidates,
may have been the best decision that I've ever made with regard to an intervention as the director of the Institute.
All right, a quick reaction to that. I know that's got to be steaming you, Peter. Fauci is a sociopath and a liar. He had nothing to do with the vaccine. The father of the vaccine is Donald J. Trump. What is Fauci the father of? Fauci's the father of the actual virus. Fauci's the guy. This virus, according to Bob Redfield at the Centers for Disease Control, came from the Wuhan lab. And basically, we had Fauci not only funding that lab with American taxpayer dollars, he authorized this thing called gain-of-function research. He allowed the Chinese Communist Party, the People's Liberation Army, to genetically engineer a virus using gain-of-function. I call it the Fauci virus now. If he wants to be the father or something, he's the father of the virus that's killed over 500,000 Americans.
You know, it's sickening that we had to play that, and I hardly ever, Willie, play garbage that other networks show. But that was so offensive, deeply offensive, that they just need to be called out. The fact that they allowed somebody without any pushback called Anthony Fauci the father of the virus, talking about the communist Chinese and genetically this, that, and the other from a lab that Anthony Fauci funded, is just so deeply offensive. Again, it's the sort of thing that would be taken down from Facebook, who has the lowest standards, sorry, Sam, the lowest standards for truth regarding this pandemic. Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.